is Evelina, and I'm 5 years old. My brother Eric and I are waiting in front of our house for our dad to take us to daycare. We live just a few blocks from school. We can walk there now. When we get bigger, we can ride our bikes. Sweden has biking, walking, and running trails everywhere, even in the countryside, because we love to be outside as much as we can, even in the winter. On days when Dad brings us, we have breakfast at school. When Mom brings us, we have breakfast at home before she goes to work. My dad is also going to work, but he comes in to help us take off our boots and coats. Everyone in Sweden takes off their shoes when they come into a home or school. More children are usually here for breakfast, but lots of kids are sick today. For breakfast, we are having yogurt, milk, cheese, and lunch meat. I like to eat my meat with bread. Today, some of the children are making a cake for Parents Visiting Day. We're following a recipe that tells us how much flour, baking powder, vanilla sugar, and water to use. We like to eat the batter that's left in the bowl. I think our teacher leaves them extra batter in the bowl just for us.
Var är Robin? Vad har vi din bokstav? Fanns bara en utav din också.
My class is learning letters. My letter is E for Evelina.
Vad heter din bokstav? E.
While we're at school, Dad is working. His company makes leather cases for cellular phones. He takes pictures of cell phones in their cases to send to stores and catalogs. Everywhere you go in Sweden, people are using cell phones. This is my mom. She's a teacher, but not at our school.
Blåsa? Blåsa?
She's helping little kids learn to blow by blowing through a straw into a bowl of soapy water. When she finishes work, she comes to our school and talks with our teachers. Then we all have a piece of the cake we made. Winter in Sweden can be cold, and it takes a long time to put on our warm clothes. I'm putting on a jacket, heavy socks, neck scarf, snow pants, mittens, boots, and hat. Mother lets us take our time on our way home. After school, we like to feed the ducks in the park with bread Mother brought from home. Then we go food shopping. This store doesn't have heat, so the fruit and vegetables stay fresh longer. In Sweden, our money is called kronor. We also stop at the supermarket. We bring our empty soda bottles to the store and put them in this machine to be counted. After a little while, the machine gives us a ticket that we can use like money in the store.
Ja, men det var samma fast det var en annan flaska, va? Ja, det blir...
Instead of using kronor to pay for our groceries, Mom's using a credit card that tells the bank how much money to take out of our account to pay for the groceries. Mom brings cloth bags from home instead of using paper and plastic bags. Swedish people love nature, and we like to do things to help the environment. My mother says that's why we don't have any polluted water or air in Sweden. When we all get home, we make ham and noodles for dinner, my favorite.
Den här kan du hjälpa mamma. Lägger den så.
We put broccoli and tomatoes over the noodles. It's Eric and my job to set the table. We usually eat dinner at about 6 o'clock. Mother uses butter, flour, and cream for the sauce she puts over the noodles.
Du hade tagit in den när du var hemma. Nej, det var den här villa var en tidig. Ja, det var. Aj, det var. Så. Vi sätter den i ugnen.
Eric and I play in the living room while we wait for the noodles to bake.
Nu är det varmt, Erik.
Eric's just learning to use a spoon, so sometimes Dad has to remind him not to use his fingers. After dinner, we get ready for bed. We have an extra big tub, so it's almost like swimming. We usually bathe about 2 times a week. Mom and Dad are helping us to learn to brush our teeth. When Mom puts us to bed, Dad cleans up the kitchen and makes coffee for himself and Mom to have after we go to bed. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we don't have to get up early for school. It's Saturday morning, and we're driving to a farm where I'm learning to ride a pony. This is my second lesson. I'm finding out which pony I can ride today. Part of learning to ride is learning how to take care of the ponies. So we brush our pony and check her hooves for stones. We use a bridle to tell the pony what we want her to do. We warm the part of the bridle that goes in the pony's mouth because it's metal. And if you put cold metal in her mouth, it can take the skin off. We're lined up to listen to our riding teacher. Then we practice what we've learned. When we get home, Eric takes a nap. I play in my room. Mom washes clothes and hangs them to dry. And Dad brings in firewood. We have a stove in our basement that keeps the upstairs floors warm. Most of our heat comes from a furnace with a computer that can choose whether to run on electricity or oil, depending on which costs less. Now we're going to our friend's birthday party. In Sweden, we often dress up in costumes for birthday parties. I'm dressed like Pippi Longstockings. William opens the gift we brought for him. William's mother lights 5 candles on the cake she made for him. William makes a wish before he blows out his candles. We have a saying that if he blows them all out in one breath, his wish will come true. After we eat, we play games. If the bottle points at you, you have to answer a question. If you know the right answer, you get to spin the bottle next. Hans grew 4 centimeters since last year. Our parents visit while we play. At home, after we have dinner, Mom usually reads me a story before I go to sleep. Tonight, she's reading Pippi Longstockings, my favorite book. The woman who wrote this is from Sweden. It's been a big day, and I'm really tired. Good night.
It's about 7 in the morning, and I'm having breakfast with our family. My name is Alexander, and I live in Kalmar, Sweden. We're having cornflakes, bread, cheese, and yogurt. It's winter now, so even though it's morning, it's still dark. The sun will go down early in the afternoon, too, sometimes even before we get home from school. The sun's just coming up as we leave our house at 8 to catch our bus to school. In Kalmar, students often ride public buses to school. We can also ride our bikes if we're old enough and don't live too far from school. After we leave, Dad gets ready to go to work. We keep our shoes by the door because everyone takes off their shoes when they come into a house or school.
Vi syns ikväll.
Karen's taking time off of work to stay home with the girls while they're little. The city will pay parents to stay home for a year after they have a baby, as long as both father and mother take turns taking care of the baby, not just the mother. My father says he loved his time at home taking care of me and my brother when we were babies. Karen tries to get exercise every day, so she and the girls often use an exercise videotape. Eva's excited that it's snowing because we've only had snow twice this year. Part of northern Sweden is in the Arctic Circle, where it's always much colder than here. And for a while in winter, they only get 3 hours of sunlight a day. Maybe that's why most Swedes live in the southern part of the country. Eva says she wants to be a painter when she grows up. Karen says Eva can be whatever she wants to be. She says Eva's lucky to grow up in a country where women have had equal rights for such a long time. Even before the Vikings, women were often leaders and had the right to own property. While the girls take a nap, Karen practices music for the church choir. Almost everyone in Sweden is Lutheran, but most people go to church just on special occasions. Today, our school has swimming lessons at the city pool. Everyone here learns to swim. Sweden is surrounded by the sea on 3 sides, and we have so many lakes and rivers that we're never far from water. A lot of families have summer cottages, and we all look forward to spring, when we can begin to spend more time outdoors. Back in our classroom, we're doing individual work before we go to lunch. Most kids go to free public schools like this one. We learn several languages, and everyone learns English because English is spoken in the business world, and doing business with other countries is very important to Sweden. We're a member of the European Community, or the EC. The EC countries are organizing to make communication and trade easier by using the same rules, language, and money in each country. school lunches are free. Today we're having meatballs and gravy, mashed potatoes, cranberries, bread, and milk. Lunch break is a chance to spend some time outside. After lunch, Max's class studies castles in the Middle Ages.
Ja, det kan man tro. Det är franska linor.
Då är han fransk.
Nej, han är dansk. Han heter Lunge i efternamn.
Lunge.
Det är han, Anders Jakobsen Lunge. Hans vapen. Han blev alltså lite fint i verkligheten. Hur fint? Ja, vad heter den på svenska i så fall? Toalettförsvar. Och sen är det en yttre borggård och en inre borggård. Precis som
Kalmar's famous for Kalmar Castle, which is 900 years old. It's still used by King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia for special meetings and celebrations.
Vad gör man?
Even though we have a king and queen, we're a democracy, which means we elect people to represent us in parliament.
Nu kommer släkten Lunge gåendes.
King Carl Gustaf and Queen Sylvia live in Stockholm, Sweden's capital, but they also have a summer home in Öland, an island across from Kalmar. Today, Dad's working at a trade fair in Öland. Lots of different companies come here to show what they do or sell. My dad's business is teaching people how to use computers so they can work at home. It's called teleworking. Products and businesses using computers are important in Sweden, and the city has a big school just for teaching new technologies. My dad says this area is working especially hard to find new industries because the Volvo car factory recently closed and a lot of people lost their jobs. One industry that's been important to Sweden for a long time is forestry. Trees cover half of our country. Glass blowing is another old industry. Our area is sometimes called the Crystal Kingdom because we've had glass blowers like these here for hundreds of years. Sweden's famous for the glass that's made here. We also manufacture this train. It's much faster and quieter than older trains. Lots of people ride bikes to the station and catch the train to work. When Max and I get home from school, we like to play computer games. Because our dad and mom are divorced, Max and I take turns living with our dad for 2 weeks, then with our mom. Since they both live in Kalmar, we can always go to the same school. Dad's making shish kebabs from moose meat. We get moose and deer from some of our friends who hunt. There are so many moose in this area that they often cause serious accidents when they get hit by cars on the highways. Karen has been grocery shopping. Karen would like to go back to work now. In order to do that, she'll have to have daycare for Ebba and Saga. But the daycare centers are all full. Karen says if they're still full in 4 months, the government will help her find one.
Jo, men jag har... Jo. Nu står lite.
Vad sa du?
On Fridays, we always have dinner in the living room while we watch cartoons on TV. Tonight, we're having French fries and salad with the shish kebabs, and Karen has made fresh bread.
Det är inte marinerat i något starkt eller sådär, utan bara rent och lite salt och peppar.
Är du hungrig på Ebba? Ska jag skära ditt kött också? Jag skär ditt kött lite, va?
Det är första gången som man ser så många hus som det här.
Dad reads a Babar book to Ebba and Saga before they go to bed.
Gator och bilar och bussar. Men det som
Max and I
inte
get to
ser
stay up
bara
later because we don't have school in the morning.
Åh, vad fina kläder de har. Vill du också ha såna? Ja, Babar önskar att han också hade en fin kostym. Babar. En skjorta med krage och rosett. En kostym i vacker grön färg. Sen en fin rund hatt. Och till sist skor och damasker.
Then Dad comes in to wish me good night. Good night.